Good evening. I'm back. I was kind of debating on streaming, honestly, after today's kind of been a day. Been a lot going on, but I figure I'm gonna put in my hour of streaming, get my hands on the keyboards, do something productive, and then sign off. So if you're around, you want to hang out, come hang out. If not, no worries. I actually do have a plan though this evening. I had a comment. Toad Sage, evening. Hello, Toad Sage. How are you doing? Good to see you again, man. So I had a comment on one of my YouTube channels, on one of my YouTube videos about using Convex with a remote DB. Specifically using some service called Neon. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's like serverless Postgres. But yeah, somebody asked me about how to do that, and so I'm gonna educate myself right now, and then I'm gonna make a video for him about it. So that's what we're planning on doing tonight, is getting Convex running locally but using a remote database. And then chatting, of course. We can hang out and chat. Toad Sage, did you get anything done today? Did you have a productive Monday? My Monday was productive. My wife actually broke her toe, so it was a little bit of a crazy Monday, but we made it through it. Smoke like a hippie. What's up, dude? How are you? Thanks for stopping into the chat. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you again. Got any big plans for your Monday evening? Boston Sports Cards. Hi, Boston Sports Cards. How you feeling? I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's good to see you again. W. Steven. I appreciate that, man. I was sort of debating on whether I was going to get on, but now I'm glad I did, because you guys are bringing the positive vibes, so I appreciate it. We had a little bit of a crazy Monday. My wife went to work like normal, and then about 9 o'clock she texted me and said that she had fallen and kind of hurt herself. Then she came home. Then we went to the urgent care. It turns out she broke her foot, or not her foot. She didn't break her foot. She broke a toe, pretty bad. So she's like on crutches and can't really put any weight on it. She's got to go see an orthopedic surgeon, I guess, at some point. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy day. Jarrell Ross. Hi, Steven. Hello, Jarrell. How are you doing, man? Let's see. Smoke like a hippie. I'm doing good. Nah, my Monday was a Monday. Nice. Boston Sports Car says, oh no, yeah. Spoke like a hippie. My Monday Smoke like a hippie. My Monday started as a Monday, and then it quickly took off from there. Toad Sage. Haven't even coded on Monday. Oh, dang, dude. You gotta get them fingers on the keyboard, bro. Let's go. You gotta start on that new project you just closed, right? Boston Sports Cards. Oh no, hope she gets better. I appreciate that, Boston. Yeah, she's doing good. She's just in a little bit of discomfort. The pain, I think, is getting to her, but she's rested. Which I might have to ditch out sometimes during the stream, so I can go if she needs something. She'll text me, but I might have to ditch out to go do that. I mean, I'll come back. I might step away for that, just as a heads up. All right, let's get this thing running. So I think I already have this actually set up. So let's go into software. Let's go into self-hosted. Yep, there we go. And there's our Docker compose. So if we say Docker compose up, okay, so that's running. What about you, Boston? Did you have a good Monday, man? What do you got going on? Anything exciting? Just a regular Monday for you? Boston Sports Cards. What is your game called again? Oh, it's just Snake. You're talking about the one I showed you yesterday. It's just Snake. So if you've ever played that game before, I can post the link again. Hey Hunter, what's up, man? How are you doing? Let's see. Let me find it for you. It's super not impressive from an idea perspective, but there it is. Celtics play tomorrow, I think. Nice. Yep, Hunter's here. Boston Sports Cards here, so that means it's officially a stream. Hunter says, God good. Yes, God is good. This is a true statement. Okay, now I need to... get this guy. CD. Okay, so this will get me into my dashboard now. So if we say lazy Docker, I guess I don't have that installed on this computer. Just Docker. Docker PS. Let's see. I want the dashboard. So this is running on 6. Oh God. Boston Sports Cards. Yesterday you had lots of people. We did have quite a few people in the stream yesterday. Okay, so that's running. Okay, so and then we have our data. So basically now I need to figure out how to do this with a remote database. And I think it's as easy as just this. You need to provide the backend with the database URL. Okay, so Boston Sports Cards. Steven, I know you say it's practice and doing it a lot, but coding looks tough. It is. It is tough. It's tough to get going. It's just like any new skill, right? There's a big. It's like a. What do you call it? It's like this, Boston. When you're trying to learn anything new, and it's not just. It really is not just coding, but if you're trying to learn anything new, the graph always looks like this, right? So if this is your graph, the learning curve is. How do I make this curved? I don't even know if I can make this curved. But there we go. So the learning curve looks like this, right? Where you don't feel like you're making a lot of progress. Like maybe here you're maybe like 6 months in. Let's say this is like 6 months. 6 months. And at this point, you're like, man, I've learned so much. I've watched so much, but why do I still feel like I don't know what the hell I'm doing? And then you have this inflection point, like at some point, let's call it like a year. Well, this scale is not very accurate, but let's say you're at like a year. And then at like a year, you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. And then it just like your productivity and your ability to create things and build things just takes off. In Boston, I guess, Boston, you play sports, so I guess I would kind of liken it to like, you know, when you're trying to figure out your jump shot, or if you're trying to figure out your swing in baseball. It's like, it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable, and then eventually it just like clicks one day, and you're like, nice, I've got this, you know? At least that was my experience. So the key is to just keep showing up. You got to keep showing up, you got to keep putting in the work, and you got to stay consistent. I think a lot of people maybe hit 6 months or they hit 3 months. Like, I think a lot of people, like, they hit like this. Like, they're like 3 months in, and they're here, and they're like, man, I've been going at this for 3 months, and I don't feel like I'm ever going to get a job, and I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to do anything, and they just quit. Boston says, sorry, I don't talk about code a lot. Yeah, no worries, Boston. You can talk about whatever you want while you're hanging out in the chat. That's the whole point of the chat, right? It's code, coffee, and chat. So it doesn't have to be about code. Smoke Like a Hippie says, Boston, I've been messing with assembly and it's been kicking my ass, but I've been making some progress. That's awesome, Smoke Like a Hippie. Good to hear, man. Stick with it. Hunter, literally. Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate like experience. And I also should say, like, I don't want to dog on the people who quit, because I get it, especially if you're learning it so that you can get a job, you know. There's a lot of pressure on you and you feel pretty desperate and stuff, and things aren't happening, and but patience, man. You know, patience is key, right? Like, there's a saying. What's that saying? The saying is like, people underestimate people overestimate what they can do in a year. Yeah, I think this is the quote I'm thinking of. So people tend to overestimate what can be done in 1 year and to underestimate what can be done in 5 or 10. Like that, I think that's just so true. And the older I get, the more that becomes more and more true. So yeah, you just got to be patient with yourself. Give yourself time, you know? Okay, where was I? So I'm basically going to create a new database on Neon, and then I'm just going to try to add this to the Docker Compose file, is what I'm going to try to do to see if this works. So, yeah, mvim, and there should just be one file in here. Yeah, Boston, I apologize. That was kind of a long-winded rant I went on there about learning to code. I mean, I will admit it is kind of tough. So you just gotta stick with it. Okay, so this is what I need to set. I need to set this to be my Neon database. Okay, so let's go to Neon. And I am by far not a professional in Neon. I've really only used it one time, and it was not even for anything that I actually ended up putting into production. So let's create a new project. Let's call it self-hosted Convex. And we'll just do the latest version of Postgres. And then we need to make sure our database is called Convex self-hosted. So let's call that. We can use Azure, that's fine. Go ahead and create it. Okay, so this is my connection. Which I think I just doxed this connection. But I'm gonna tear this down anyway, so if anybody connects to it, so be it. I'm gonna delete it anyways afterwards. Okay, so let me take this off screen real quick so I can put this in here. So they do say in the docs for this thing, they do say you need to provide the backend with a database URL environment variable, which is a connection URL for your database, without anything after the domain. So they're very specific. They don't want any parameters after the domain. Okay, so let me put this in my compose file here. Okay, I think that's, let me write that out. This may be a lot easier than the guy in my YouTube video thought it was. See, I play basketball. Is fun. Basketball is fun. My kid's playing basketball actually right now. My oldest is playing basketball. My youngest hasn't really gotten into sports, but my oldest is real into sports. The Detroit Pistons have 7 or 8 wins in a row. That's incredible. 7 or 8 wins in a row in any sport's pretty incredible, especially when you play in basketball, when you play as often as you do. Celtics gonna put that BTA against the Raptors tomorrow. You know it. I'll have to take your word for it. I just don't follow it close enough. Okay, Docker compose up. We'll see if this works. I think it worked because I just saw a bunch of log messages. I think it worked because I just saw a bunch of log messages about creating a table. Yeah, see, it created all these tables. Okay, let's go back to my neon. Tables. There should be some tables in here if this worked. Yeah, it worked. There's a bunch of tables in here. Interesting. Okay, so let's now see if we can actually... Okay, so there's no table in there right now, but let's try to import some data in there. Boston, what project are you working on? It's so it's not really a project per se. I made a video on my YouTube channel a couple days ago. It was called what was it called? I think it was called like How I Self-Host Convex. Yeah, it was called How I Self-Host Convex, and someone left a comment on this and basically said, hey, could you make another video about this but use a different database essentially? And so that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm basically trying to learn how to do that so then I can make a video that basically says this is how you do that. So yeah, so not really a project per se. I think I'm actually really close though. So I think if I go over here to Convex local deployment, and here, let me take this off screen for a second. think if I paste in my... Oh, that's not gonna work. Okay, so let me regenerate my key, because I keep forgetting to save that. Right, quit all. Yep, okay, so now we can come back over here. Okay, so now what we can do here is we should be able to say npx convex import sample data. Oh. Table is tasks. Nice, it worked. Nice, almost there. Yep, I'm close, man. Shane Stewart, how are you? I'm good, Shane. Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you coming into the chat. Mohammed Avez, hey, what we doing? Hey, Mohammed, I'm actually trying to get, well, I'm not trying, I just did it. I'm trying to get Convex. So Convex is a managed backend as a service, but they recently just announced that you can host it. So if you're familiar with Mohammed with like Firebase or Supabase, Convex is like a better version of that, in my opinion. And so now they let you self-host it, and you can not only self-host it, you can also use a hosted database as the data store for it. So that's what I'm setting up right now. So I just have a database set up on Neon, which is like a serverless Postgres service, and so that's what I'm checking out right now. Okay, interesting. So where does it keep the... Mohammed Avez, damn, is it open source? It is open source. Yep, it's a really great service. You go to convex.dev. Here, I'll link it up in the chat. It's a really great service. Don't be fooled by their marketing. Their marketing is very heavy towards React, but you can use it with if you go to their docs, they have tutorials and get started, quick starts with like most of the major frameworks. So the real magic, though, the real magic is when you're using it in something like React or Vue, because the database is fully reactive, right? So basically, the minute data changes in your database, they automatically take care of broadcasting that change to all of your users, right? So when your user like loads a page, you can have a query, right, to Convex that displays the data on the page, and then the moment any of that data changes, the page will automatically just update. So it's really cool. I would highly recommend going through one of their quick starts. You'll be pretty sold on it right away. But it's all open source. It can be self-hosted. It's great. Uh-oh. My restream chat died. That's weird. I'm gonna have to go to my YouTube. YouTube Studio. I'm still live, but I can't see chat. Hold on, guys. Sorry. If you're talking to me in the chat, I apologize. I'm trying to figure out my... Let's see, restream.io. Maybe I can just go to Restream's website. Okay, I think I fixed it. I've never had that happen to me before, where the chat dies. But it did die for a second. W, Steven. Yeah, W. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. In any event, yeah, so I was kind of like shilling for Convex there, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I am curious though, I don't actually see a task table here. Just kind of interesting. Like these are obviously all tables that Convex itself needs to run. But I'm not sure. Tasia Wilkins. Hey, Steven. Hey, Tasia. How are you doing? Doing well? Having yourself a good night? We are just vibing at the moment. So, yeah. Just vibing. Okay, so let's see... I guess, let's see, hold on. Documents. So is this where we store the document? Like, what is all this? I don't even know what this all is. This must be how they store the data. Like, let's see if I... How many documents are in here right now? 50? Oh no, there's a lot more. It's like a... Let's see, that's 50, 100... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 105 rows. So if I add another task, test, save. Does that then add a document over here? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So these documents are somehow, they must have some proprietary serialization or something they're doing. Like this is just a big long mess of digits. Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. So you can kind of see what they're doing to persist their data. I mean, it's all. I mean, their code is all open source. So if you really wanted to parse through it, you could and probably figure it out how they're doing these things. But it's all written in Rust, and I'm not smart enough to. I don't know enough Rust, nor am I smart enough. But it's working, so this works. So I should be able to make a video to explain how to do this now. Cool. Let's see. Teja says, I'm okay. I'm laying in bed. Nice. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. Doing good. Just hanging out. Did you tell Lane I said hi? I did. Lane is the second best freeborn. You number one. Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen him actually in any of my streams lately. He must not be putting in that time on TikTok. His kid must be keeping him too busy. Alright, so it took me 30 minutes to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, so that's great. We're well ahead of schedule. Okay, so let's tear all this down. because I did leak my Postgres connection information. So let's tear that down. It's taking a little while to stop this thing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The guys who started Dropbox actually, I guess, used to work, or not Dropbox. The guys who started Convex, I guess, used to work at Dropbox. They were the guys that like built the sync engine for Dropbox, so they're like wicked smart. Like honestly, if Convex was like an open company, like if I could invest money into Convex, I would. Like I'm just that big of a believer in the product. I think it's next level. Okay, that's not running anymore. We can get rid of this, and then here I need to just delete this project. So how do I do that? I guess I just come in here and click delete, settings, delete. Man, it's so, I mean, it's crazy how easy it is to set things up and tear things down nowadays. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay. Well, now we need to figure out something to do for the next 30 minutes because I don't have anything else planned. Lobito says Control Alt Delete. Is that an insult? Is that an insult towards me? Control Alt Delete. Okay, cool. Well, let's see if we have any chores that we need to do. I know I have some issues logged. Oh, someone starred my NeoVim configs. Nice. This is probably going to end up being my most starred repo on GitHub, is my NeoVim config. I bet it is now, actually. At 3 stars, I think that's my most starred repo. Lobito says no, just messing around. Okay. I thought maybe, Lobito, you were trying to say, like, Control Alt Delete this guy. because his stream sucks. But I appreciate that that's not the case, man. I appreciate you. I'm going to drag this actually over here so that I can read your guys' chat without having to twist my head so much. I wish my chat would come back into, yeah, the chat plugin keeps dying for some reason in OBS. Oh, where did the TikTok chat go? I guess I probably shouldn't close the TikTok chat. Although TikTok, I really haven't had anybody really engage on TikTok, honestly. Let's see, how many subs right now? I honestly don't know. Let's see. Probably 360 or something like that. 367. Hey, look at us. We're doing things out here. Teja, I did. I told her everyone was wishing her well, so we appreciate you guys. She actually got a lot of phone calls. A lot of people called. She like had to tell the same story like 10 times. It was kind of funny. I'm sure it wasn't funny for her. Lobito, are you on Linux? I am not. I'm on a Windows machine. This is actually PowerShell. I do have a Linux server though. I can show you my Linux server. SSH Tinker. So I have a Linux server that I host things on. Yeah, you're welcome, Tasia. Of course, of course. Uh, I think libido the problem. So I've talked to people about the Linux thing, uh, like trying to turn Linux into like a daily driver. And the problem, so I guess here the only problem with that is I think if even if I was to use Linux for like my daily driver type of setup, I would still need a Windows machine to do a lot of the content creation. Um, so right now, what I do is I just have Linux servers, and then I use my daily driver. My laptops are all Windows machines, and that's working pretty good for me at the moment. But one of these days, actually, I'll show you what I want to do. What I want to do, the next computer I buy or the next laptop I buy, I want to buy one of these computers made by System 76. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. No, not System. It's not System 76. Sorry. Although System 76 has some cool computers. Yeah, it's Framework. That's the name of the company. Framework laptop. And so you can install Windows or Linux on this. But I'd love to get one of these Framework laptops because they're completely repairable. Like you can swap the screen out, you can swap the keyboard out, you can swap the different ports out. So you can just upgrade the display if you want to upgrade the display, or you can just upgrade the motherboard if you want to upgrade the motherboard. But I'd like to get one of these, and I'd like to put Linux on this and use this as like a daily driver for a Linux device someday. But for now, having a server that I can SSH into and do things with is fine. Libido, those are expensive. Yes, they are expensive. They are expensive, which is why I don't have one yet. Toad Sage says, "Oh, dismantling laptop." Yes, I just think that would be cool to be able to have a laptop that you can just continually upgrade over time. And obviously the selling point, like you can do that with other Windows laptops, but the selling point with their machine is just a little bit easier. Like it's purposely designed to be able to do that. I also have WSL, so Libido in terms of Linux. I do have Ubuntu set up on my Windows machine using WSL. So if I ever need like Linux stuff, or I want to work on Linux, I have the ability to do that. But I honestly really Boston Sports Card says Steven Freeborn equals W. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Although he's probably gonna make fun of my screenshot because my name's spelled wrong. I'll send that to him. He'll get a kick out of that. Let's see. Lane takes the L. That's what I called that. That's what I called that screenshot. Hold on. I'm gonna exit out of here. Exit. Oh, sorry, it's autocorrect. It's all right. No, yeah, everyone says that whenever they try to type my name, it autocorrects it for them. We can just blame my mother, you know. Muhammad said, "Who's Lane Freeborn?" That's my brother, Muhammad. He's been on the stream before. Once he's been on the stream once, and he comes into the chat occasionally to troll us. Boston says, "I know it's Steven, not Steven." Sorry. Yeah, of course I know you know that. It's no big deal, man. No big deal at all. Like I said, I would just blame my mom. It's her fault. Someone said don't go Alienware, huh? Did you have a bad experience with Alienware? I've never owned an Alienware laptop, but they do seem really overpriced. Um, like it, and it also seems like they kind of lost their heyday. Like it seems like at one point they were like kind of a pinnacle of a gaming brand when it comes to computers, but it seems like they've kind of fallen out of favor. Boston Sports Cars. Does Lane have a YouTube channel or online channel? He does not. He has a TikTok, I think, but he doesn't really make content like that. Um, he's never really done that. Although he does do it a little bit for his job. Like he'll make posts and stuff for his job, but he doesn't really make any like personal content. Oh, Mohammed, did you just send me an invite to connect on LinkedIn? That's awesome, man. Thanks for reaching out. Appreciate you. Oh, Mohammed, you went to or you're currently at an IIT right now, or ITTT. I heard those are really hard. That's like the tippy top, right, of tech education in India, right? Somebody had said somebody else from India had been in my chat a couple nights ago and was saying that that's like they're super competitive to get in. So that's awesome, man. Congrats on that. Do you know what you want to do after you get out of school? What you want to work on? I'm guessing you're going to do something with um going to do something with computers, I'm like assuming. Oh, you don't study at ITTT. Oh, okay, sorry, I misread your. Oh, you were an intern. Okay, sorry, I misread your LinkedIn. Sorry, man. That's my bad. Toad Sage says try ThinkPads, man. They are hackable. Actually, hey, Toad Sage, it's funny you bring that up. There's this other laptop that I've had my eye on. So I had my very first job. Everyone had ThinkPads, but they were old ThinkPads. They weren't like the nice ones, the newer ones. But have you seen the X1 Carbons, X1 Carbon ThinkPad? These things look so sharp. I've always seen these and thought, man, I'd love to have one of these. Boston Sports Cards is just dunking on my brother. Too bad he's not here right now to get dunked on. Someone other than me can do it. Where'd it go? Where's the... Yeah, these. When these originally launched, I thought, man, that's just a sweet looking ThinkPad. It was like thinner, lighter, and I think they had like a yoga version of it too, where it could flip all the way around and kind of like become a little bit tablet like. I think at one point they had like a yoga version of it. But yeah, I saw when this first came out, these X1s first came out. I thought, man, I'd like to get me one of those. Lane when he sees this. The last laptop I bought actually was a ZenBook. Have you guys heard of those? Asus ZenBooks. Asus ZenBooks. I've been super happy with it. I do wish it had a little bit more RAM. I didn't mean to take us down a shopping rabbit hole here. But that seems to be where we ended up. Toadshade says my friend has this. Nice. Yeah. I thought those were pretty sweet, pretty cool devices. Well, Let's see, we're at 45 minutes. What can we do for 15 minutes or so? I'm probably just gonna stream for an hour tonight. Like I was debating on streaming at all, but I'm glad I did because you guys have definitely lifted the vibes here. But I probably only go for another 15 minutes or so. Mohammed, how frequently do you stream? Almost every day, Mohammed. If you go back and look at my live streams, you can kind of see roundabouts my frequency. But usually like 2 or 3 a day. It just depends. So I try to alternate. Like I try to do like an office hour in the morning, and then I'll usually do like a workout and chat stream in the afternoon. And then either over lunchtime or in the evening, I'll do kind of like a stream like this where I do something that's kind of code and programming related. And usually I have more of an agenda, but I didn't really have much planned tonight. Boston sports cards, you're just spamming right now. But I like the Steven equals goats. Toad Sage, man, I want to have. What do you want to have, Toad Sage? Toad Sage, thoughts on. Oh, you want to have a Kinesis, the 360? Is that what you're talking about? That's that keyboard, right? The keyboard that's like split in half. I think Primeagen uses this, right? I think the Primeagen uses these. You actually want this, Toad Sage? Really? Boston sports cards. Lane is troll. What are you trying to do, Boston? Like Beetlejuice my brother into the chat? I don't think he's on tonight. He's got a little one that keeps him pretty busy, and a job and a wife. I mean, he's a busy dude. Yeah. So Toad says, I think the Primeagen uses this. Doesn't he use a Kinesis keyboard or something like that? I honestly don't know, but for some reason, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Here, okay? Hell. Now.
So I guess my thoughts, Toad Sage, is I don't know. I've never used a keyboard like this before. So, like, I'm open to it. Like I'm open to it, but I don't want to spend $450 to find out I don't like it. So is there a cheaper option to try a split keyboard than this that you know of that you would recommend? Because at this point I have way too many keyboards. I have this keyboard. I have this keyboard. I have 3 or 4 different keyboards at this point. And so, I mean, they weren't very expensive. They were all like $30 or $40, but I feel like I shouldn't spend $450 to find out I just don't like it. So if you have a recommendation on one that's a little cheaper for me, yeah, I don't know. The placement of these is weird. Like, I feel like the placement of those buttons right here is strange. Oh my god, what's happening right now? These buttons, I feel like these buttons are in a weird place. But maybe it feels more ergonomic. I don't know. We'd have to try it and see. We can make a stream out of that. Steven tries the Kinesis 360. But everyone would have to donate to getting one. Boston, sorry for trolling your brother, but he has to see that Luca is and Steven is number 1. Well, I appreciate that, Boston. You're definitely hammering that point home in the chat this evening. But he's not here tonight, so You have to put on your performance again some other time. You know what project that I've kind of let die is we were working on this guy, this alt-gen project, and I've kind of let it die. I need to revive it. Boston Sports Cards, yeah. Yeah, I actually think I added a to-do here too, where I needed to actually split this up into 2 different commands. Let's see. Add config command. I don't know how much time I got. I only have like 9 minutes, but we can remove config command. Well, actually, I don't think I need this one. Toad Sage, I have the ergonomics split keyboard. Okay, let me look at that one. Ergonomics split keyboard. Oh man, that's still kind of expensive. Toad Sage, you're gonna have to get me some freelance work to pay for this. Although this one looks pretty sweet. I like the style of this one much more than the Kinesis. So does this one, can you tilt this one up though, or does it have to stay flat like that? Because I don't know, having them flat like that, I feel like might hurt your hand after a while. If you want to experience the splits, then buy any split under $100. Yeah, let's see what kind of splits are out there. Split mechanical keyboard. Yeah, Boston, no worries, man. Have a good night's sleep. Thanks for hanging out with us. I will definitely pass it along, man. Thanks for your well wishes. Really appreciate it. Oh wow, Royal Kludge makes I have a keyboard by them, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. But they make a split. Okay, so this is a pretty common thing, huh? I don't know. That's so weird though, man. It's so weird. I'll have to do it for you though, Toad Sage. Mohammed, sorry Mohammed, I saw your comment. How are you doing this in PowerShell? Mohammed, are you talking about NeoVim? See you, Boston. Have a good night, man. Is that what you're talking about, Mohammed? Mohammed, the NeoVim thing? Or are you meaning like all this? Whoops. Why is that doing that? I'm not sure why that's happening. Are you meaning this guy right here? Like the cool terminal prompt type thing, Mohammed? Because the editor is just NeoVim. And I can point you to where you can get that. It's just, you just install it. And then you have to configure it, obviously. The other stuff, this is Oh My Posh. So all this up here, this is just Oh My Posh, which is kind of like Oh My ZSH, if you're familiar with that. It just allows you to make your PowerShell real pretty. And they have a bunch of plugins you can use. Toad Sage, you can't elevate it. Okay, cool, yeah. I like the style of yours better than the Kinesis, honestly. It's definitely a little pricey for me. But yeah, if you could elevate this, I think it would be a little bit more comfortable just looking at it, but I still think it would take me a while to get productive with that. And I'm still trying to get productive with NeoVim. So I don't know if I want to add a split keyboard in. Maybe this is my 2026 adventure, is switching to a split keyboard. Mohammed Avez. Yeah, NeoVim. That's what that editor is. Um, let's see, MVim. Yeah, this thing. This is NeoVim. It's a little squished right now because my display's pretty big and I'm zoomed in. But I just switched over to using it at the beginning of this year. So I have been a VS Code user up until the beginning of this year, and I still use VS Code sometimes, but I've been trying to make a good effort to just work primarily in NeoVim, and so far I've been able to. By BTW, if they sponsor you, would you give it a try? Of course, man. If I got a sponsor, I'd be like, yeah, I'll totally give your shit a try. You know what I mean? That'd be wild to have a sponsor. What was I doing? Oh, NeoVim. Yeah, so obviously here's the documentation, right? So you can just install it. So this is where you install NeoVim, Mohammed. I'll just put this in the chat. NeoVim installation is here. And then, let's see. If you're interested, Mohammed, in my configurations, I'll share those two with you. Because you have to configure everything. That's the one thing with NeoVim is nothing really comes... There's not really anything out of the box. You have to configure it all. Let's see. NVim config. And I have some videos on my YouTube that kind of walk over me setting this up. I've made a bunch of YouTube videos and content and streams kind of going through that. Posh or Starship, which is better? I've never actually heard of Starship, Mohammed, so let's check that out. Starship. The minimal, blazing fast, infinitely customizable prompt for any shell. Huh. Well, I might have to give this a try. I have NerdFont. Oh, you can install it using Winget. Nice. That's a plus right off the bat. And then you just add that to your PowerShell, your profile. And then looks like there's a bunch of configuration stuff. Interesting. Well, I might have to do a deep dive on this guy. I didn't know this existed, Mohammed, so thanks for pointing this out, man. Appreciate that. I mean, I've been really happy with Oh My Posh. I mean, Oh My Posh has been great, so I have no complaints for Oh My Posh, but I didn't know this existed, so I can't even give an opinion on it. It does look like maybe there's a little bit more configuration. And it looks like it uses TOML for configuration, which I don't know if I'm a fan of that. Oh My Posh uses JSON. Toad Sage. Mohammed, I recommend trying LazyVim. Yeah, and to go set Mohammed to second what Toad Sage said, that's what I'm using in my NeoVim configs. It's all done through LazyVim. I mean, I kind of built it as I went, but it's using LazyVim as the package manager. Toad says Starship is fast. Yeah, that seems to be they like they harp on that, don't they? It's fast. It's fast. Really, really fast. Toad says, I used Starship, but I didn't like it. Okay, fair enough. I like Starship in PowerShell, but some emojis won't appear in VS Code. Oh, that is kind of shitty. Yeah, that's kind of annoying when your shell doesn't show up in VS Code like it does in the actual terminal. That's frustrating. I had that issue with so in my shell, in my PowerShell prompt here, I had that issue with this icon right here, um, with the little home icon, and basically it turned out that Nerd Font patched one of their fonts and changed the symbol, or should I say the identifier for this. And so when I upgraded Nerd Fonts on my machine, my Oh My Posh configuration was referencing the old fonts identifier, so I had to go fix it, and that fixed it for me. So I don't know if that same kind of thing happens in Starship, because I'm guessing Starship uses Nerd Font too. Um, so it might be worth like patching to the latest version of Nerd Font that you're using, and then making sure that whatever symbols you're using in your configuration file actually match what's in that version of Nerd Font. That's what fixed it for me. I don't know if that's actually your issue, Mohammed, but just kind of sharing, because it drove me equally nuts. Toad says I use Oh My ZSH. Yeah, I guess that's what I have on my Ubuntu setup here. This is Oh My ZSH. I don't have it really configured really nice or fancy, but it's there. Toad says no, I mean use LazyVim's default config. Oh, yeah, that too. You can do that. Here's the thing though. So Toad says, and I'm pretty new to the whole NeoVim world, so I might be talking out the side of my head. Out the side of my head. I don't know. I might be talking out. I might not have any leg to stand on this. But I tried to pull down. Do you guys know who DHH is? So I tried to pull down this NeoVim configuration for that DHH put out there. And the one problem I had was when I pulled it down, I didn't understand what the hell it was. Like, I didn't understand what the configurations were doing or how it was organized. I can probably understand it better now that I've actually put together my own configuration with the help of Typecraft or Typecraft's course. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess that is all to say that there may be something to actually. There may be actually some benefit to like kind of going through that process of building your own configuration as like a learning experience. But you're right. If you're looking for like a default config that just works, right? That's probably a good place to start is LazyVim. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I was also gonna say LazyVim. I don't think does LazyVim come with does LazyVim's config come with debugger and all that setup? Because to me, that's one thing that I've been very surprised about the NeoVim community is it doesn't seem like a lot of people are into using debuggers or into using test runners. It seems like most people are still just using like they're running their tests from the command line or they are debugging their code using like print statements. I mean, I think LazyVim talks about debugging, but I don't think it's set up out of the box. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you know DHH. Yeah, DHH. I like DHH. I follow him quite. I listen to their podcasts. Do you know their what's that called? Rework. It's called Rework. Yeah. The Rework podcast. I listen to this almost every week. It's good. It doesn't always have DHH on it, but they're on it quite a bit. DHH and his business partner. my favorite thing about DHH is how he can just like. I mean, he just like set him up and let him talk, and he can just go and go and go and go. Yeah. crazy. I know some people don't like him. I know he rubs some people the wrong way, but not everyone's cup of tea. But I really enjoy him, listening to him and reading him. He has a really good blog too. I like reading his blogs. Yeah, so it's good stuff. I will say it's still it's still taking me a little bit to get comfortable with the Vim motions. Like I'm curious for anybody in the chat who uses Vim or NeoVim, like how long does it take before the Vim motions become like second nature? Yep, MVim community believe DApp is not their choice. Yeah, I mean that definitely jives because it was kind of a struggle to get it working, but now that I have it working, I don't have any complaints. But like that actually is what took me the longest to actually make the switch, or to attempt to make the switch is because I didn't think. Basically, I didn't think that NeoVim could be a legit alternative to VS Code because how am I gonna actually debug stuff, right? How am I gonna debug my? That's one of my favorite workflows is debugging tests. Like I'll write a test and then I'll step into that test. Ahmed, sup y'all? Hey Ahmed, how are you, man? Thanks for stopping into the chat, dropping a comment. It is appreciated. Mr. X, wake up, bro. Go to work in Farmer. What are you talking about, Mr. X? Ahmed says, I have to go to school in an hour. Oh, what time is it where you are? What time is it? Yap dollar. Listen to net spend. What's that? Let me look that up. Net spend. Oh, he's a rapper? Okay. I can add him. I can add him to the list of things to check out. Excuse me. Never heard of him before though. Let's see. Never use PowerShell. Is it Bash? I use ZSH on macOS. So PowerShell is well, it used to be Windows specific. Now it's cross-platform, but it's not Bash. It's its own unique shell, with its own language and its own kind of idiosyncrasies. But I enjoy it. I like it for working on Windows. I mean, with Windows, you kind of either use you use the command prompt. Most people either use the command prompt or use PowerShell, and I think most people probably tend to PowerShell for their daily driver. But I use Bash too. Like I guess I shouldn't say I use Bash. I use ZSH on all my Linux machines, honestly. And I do have a MacBook. I have a MacBook down here, but it doesn't hold a charge anymore. So I kind of use it like a desktop computer when I do use it. It's just MacBooks are so freaking expensive. Like holy crap, why are they so expensive? Toad Sage, it takes time. Yeah, it does seem to take time. I mean, I guess I'm going on almost 2 months now, and like I can do work. Like I can work in NeoVim. That's how I've been writing all of my code and doing all my work at work for the last 2 months. But there's still this hesitation in like, which key is it I press to do this thing? But it's getting better. Mr. X, where are you, girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend, Mr. X. So we not like you, net spend. He's peak. Okay, yeah, dollar. I'll check him out, man. Thanks for the recommendation. By the way, what your GMT, Steven? Toad Stage, can you elaborate? What's GMT? Yap Dollar, why are you low key awesome? I don't know, but thanks. I appreciate that, Yap Dollar. Thanks for the compliment, man. I don't think of myself as awesome, but that's nice. Mr. X, listen to DJ Horig. Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Okay, so I've got a couple new musicians I need to listen to. James Haskin, pro tip: get an M1 with a broken screen for $200 to $300 and make it headless. Interesting. So what, you just... What do you mean by make it headless, James? You mean you remote into it from another machine, or like what? How are you actually using it though? Like connect it to a monitor? You look like you're a Mona Lisa's lineage. I don't even know what the fuck that means. That is the most random comment. Searching DJ Horig, bro. Well, I'm gonna do this off stream because I don't know where this is gonna take me. Well, he's on SoundCloud. Okay, so this is a legit guy. Okay. I'll check it out. I'm not gonna play any of it on stream because I don't wanna get knocked for copyrights. Let's see. Yap Dollar, he cusses, just warning you. Yeah, that's okay with me. The cussing doesn't bother me. He's on Spotify. Okay, I'll check him out. Yeah, I appreciate the recommendations. The cussing does not bother me. My family likes our colorful language. That's actually probably the most controversial parenting thing we do is we do not restrict our kids' use of cuss words. Oh, Greenwich Meridian Time. Well, I'm Central Standard Time, so let's see. CST to GMT. Oh, it's right there. So I guess it's 4:40 a.m. for me in Greenwich Mean Time. It's 10:44 in Central Time. Hold on. Okay, James said you can AirPlay to a TV or USB-C monitor. Okay, so that would be okay with me, because I almost always work off of external monitors most of the time anyways. So you're saying I can get an M1 with a broken screen for pretty cheap? Where do you pick that up at though? Yap Dollar, what video games you play? Mostly Call of Duty these days. However, there is a new game that just came out called Avowed that I really want to try. I've said this like 6 times on stream, and I know someone one of these days is going to be like, just play it already. But I haven't played it yet. My oldest son has played it and says it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so I play Call of Duty. I play Fortnite with my kiddos, Minecraft. What else? That's about it these days right now. But if you have any recommendations, happy to take your recommendations. I haven't been playing a ton of video games lately though. It's just like that. I used to play Call of Duty every night with a group of guys, and then they kind of moved on from Call of Duty, and so I lost my squad. How old are they? So my oldest is in 3rd grade. So they're elementary school kids. Marvel Rivals. Okay, so I haven't played it, but my favorite streamer to watch while I work is Tim the Tatman. if you guys know who that is. And he is up with Marvel Rivals. um, he's been playing Marvel Rivals nonstop, and it looks like a ton of fun. Because I have played Overwatch. I have played a little bit of Overwatch, and it does look like a ton of fun. Excuse me. I got the hiccups all of a sudden. That's gonna be annoying if I hiccup on stream. That may have to end the stream. You play Siege? No, I have not played any Siege. My oldest son does though, and he likes it. The movement for me is the issue on Rainbow Six Siege, which I guess I should say. I haven't played it at all. I have played some with my oldest son, but the problem for me is it feels slow, and maybe that's because I'm coming from Call of Duty, is why it feels slow. But yeah, that's been my experience with Rainbow Six Siege. Is it just feels, it's like, yeah. Not to knock it, like that's just my take on it. Well, peoples, we've been going for about an hour and 17 minutes, which is 17 minutes longer than I thought I was going to go. And I appreciate all of you who hung out and chatted with me and kept me company. But I think I'm gonna sign off for the evening, and I'm probably gonna go write some more code, but it's gonna be some work-related things because I missed a few hours at work today. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me. James Haskins says, hunt your local Craigslist. Flexgate was a thing, so there's a lot of that out there. There's video guides for moving the screen. You'll need it for things like reinstalling the OS, but it's a cover. Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up, James. I appreciate the recommendation there. Yap Dollar, good night. Yeah, man, Yap Dollar. Thanks for the music recommendations, man. You have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Toad Sage, every programmer goes through the gamer phase once. I thought it was only me. Well, I don't think it's a phase, though, Toad Sage, because the video games run deep in this family. I just need to put together a new squad for my COD stuff. But yeah, okay.